Good evening. Welcome, everybody. We're very quiet here this evening. I think people are afraid that they might catch COVID from us. Imogen, Charlene and Beth definitely won't catch COVID over Zoom. Welcome, really lovely to see you. And the way we begin our practice is always by reading a Dharma glimpse. And this evening, Sam will read us a Dharma glimpse by Jame. So over to you, Sam. Thank you very much.
Okay. I noticed that my body felt heavier than usual as I set off for a morning walk yesterday. My legs couldn't quite meet the demands of my desire to bounce along in the way that I had envisioned. I could feel my thoughts beginning to race, as if competing for space in my head. What's wrong? Why this lack of energy? Maybe I'm ill. After a mile or so, I stopped and sat on a bench overlooking the valley and felt the sun soothing me from the outside in. An immediate change of heart and mind. Energized, I pushed on along the path that leads through the hillside woods. Before long, I felt the same nervous energy arising again, a need to rush, an urgency without any particular direction or objective. I breathed out consciously and allowed my anxious momentum to be absorbed into the rocks and dirt underfoot. All but stopping, I paid close attention to my feet, each step establishing a solid connection with the vastly ancient geometric mass of the Malverns. I took some time to glance upwards and noticed the bright green canopy arching over me, drooping under the weight of the sky and the clouds. Blue and white light filter through the gnarled fingers that clutch emerald leaves. Perfectly upstanding yet asymmetrical trunk supports the hands of the branches, which offer shelter and beauty simultaneously. If I hadn't slowed down, I wouldn't have seen the tree in that special light. That happens only when you really pay attention. But attention to what? It's only a tree, isn't it? Meditative awareness illuminates the world in a particular way that connects us to it, or more accurately, in a way that shows us that we were never apart from it. The tree and I are profoundly one. The sun and I were made for each other. The ground that I stand on is the platform on which I establish this union and expand my sense of integration. This is the Pure Land. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you so much, Sam. Okay, so we will have a period of silence together. And there's something different about sitting quietly with other people than there is sitting quietly on our own. It's a community activity, even though we're not speaking to each other, we are sharing a silent space, whether we're here in the room or wherever we are in the country. And as you settle into the silence, you might just want to pay attention to your breath as it comes into your body and leaves your body without trying to change it, just noticing it as it comes and goes. And you will probably have thoughts and sensations and feelings. Just allow them to be there too, give them some space. And allow them to move through you, allow them to pass out the other end. And if you do receive any moments of peace or spaciousness, just enjoy them. So after a little while, we'll begin chanting together and we'll chant the words Amitabha. So do join in when you get the tune. Namo Amida Butsu. Amitabha. 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 We'll now recite the refuge's vows and precepts together, so please repeat after me. For refuge, I go to the Buddha.
For refuge, I go to the Buddha,
The one who is awake and full of love.
the one who is awake and full of love.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
For refuge, I go to the Dharma.
For refuge, I go to the Dharma,
All that guides us to wisdom and compassion.
all that guides us to wisdom and compassion.
Namo Dharmaya.
Namo Dharmaya.
For refuge, I go to the Sangha.
For refuge, I go to the Sangha,
Those who live in the Buddha's light.
those who live in the Buddha's light.
Namo Sanghaya.
Namo Sanghaya.
With faith in the three jewels.
With faith in the three jewels,
And in light of our human tendencies.
and in light of our human tendencies,
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I take life.
of when I take life.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I take what is not freely given.
of when I take what is not freely given.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I fall into sexual misconduct.
of when I fall into sexual misconduct.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I fall into wrong speech.
of when I fall into wrong speech.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I become intoxicated.
of when I become intoxicated.
No blame,
No blame,
be kind,
be kind,
love everything.
love everything.
Innumerable are sentient beings.
We vow to save them all.
Inexhaustible are deluded passions.
We vow to transform them all.
Immeasurable are the Dharma teachings.
We vow to master them all.
Infinite is the Buddha's way.
We vow to fulfill it completely. Namo Meetabu. So I think you all know that me and Caspar are post-COVID, mostly post-COVID. And I really noticed it when I tried to chant this evening. My voice was not working as well as it usually does. And it makes me think about how we treat ourselves or other people when we have limits, when we encounter our limits. And it was really clear to me with my voice that it was COVID that has made it funny. And it's not that I wasn't trying hard enough or that I'd stayed up all night partying or that if I'd put if I'd tried really hard, then my voice would have come back. It's really clear that at the moment my throat is wobbly because it's recovering from something physical. But when we encounter, well, certainly I can speak for myself, when I encounter my limits in more psychological ways, I'm very quick to blame myself for it. Like, oh, I lost my temper. I should have been more patient. I should have talked to someone else about it. I'm not a very nice person. There are all these reasons why I've kind of failed, that I've not managed to do the right thing. And if I'd tried harder, then I would have managed. And I do wonder how often these things that we do that aren't perfect are like a wobbly COVID voice, that we are just encountering our limits. For whatever reason, we've had a terrible week, or the way that we were brought up, or anyone would have responded to a provocation with heat. All of these factors that we're not in control of, just like my physical state. My psychological state's much more complicated, but my suspicion is that a lot of the factors are more beyond my control than I would like to imagine. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I beat myself up or feel that I should have done things better, is I like the idea of being able to be in control of how I am and what I do. I like the idea of being able to just try harder and then being different. I don't like the idea of being at the whim of, at the mercy of all kinds of factors that are out of my control. But I think that Pure Land Buddhism points us towards this truth that we are foolish beings of wayward passion, that we are often driven by our greed and our hate and our delusion, by our fear, in ways that cause us to harm other people or cause us to harm ourselves. And that's really tough. That really sucks. It really sucks. And I'm not saying don't try and be better people, because that's really important. And there are some things that are in our control, just about. And we do learn from situations, ideally. We can get better at asking for help or resting or understanding where the other person might be coming from. All of that stuff is true. I guess what I am saying is cut yourself a break. That if things aren't going the way that you want them to, or if you do something that feels unskillful, welcome to the human race. And as my wobbly chanting voice is reminding me, what my wobbly chanting voice needs is some kindness. It needs me to keep resting. It needs me to have some more ginger and lemon tea. It doesn't need me to shout at it for being wobbly. And it's really easy to offer that to other people sometimes, but it's much harder to be nice to ourselves. And luckily, we have the Buddha who can be nice to us, or who can remind us that we are acceptable just as we are, because we will also fail to be nice to ourselves. That's also part of being human. Hopefully sometimes we manage it. Hopefully sometimes we manage to be nice to each other. But regardless of all that, the Buddha is always there, radiating kindness towards us. Namo Meethapi. So we'll now make prostrations to the Buddha, so do join us. Namo Meethapi. Namo
Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo
In gratitude, we offer this incense to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas throughout space and time. Be it if it is fragrant as earth herself, reflecting a careful effort, our wholehearted awareness, and the fruits of understanding slowly ripen. May we all be to be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true end.
So we will now bow to each other. And to the Buddha. Tidy our seats and bow to our seats. And then we'll finish with the closing verse. Blessed by Amitabha's light, may we care for all living things and the holy earth. Namo Mita Boo. Hope you'll join us for a cup of tea. I don't think we've got any announcements.
Well, there's loads of things coming up.
Yeah, but you've got you've got the email with the 60 million dates on, so and they're all on the calendar.
Namo
Mita Boo. And do check out our mural in progress in the hallway. Yeah. Just gonna stop this.